No, little inside barks, please. Little inside barks. Good girl. It's okay, there's no one there. The weather's so weird today. I've got the door open, so she can probably hear a bird or something. That's probably what this is about. But it looks like it's going to pour now. I feel like the weather being weird is the only thing that anyone in England has talked about for this entire week, because one minute you're in a t-shirt, it's sunny and you're actually too warm, and then the next minute you have to wear a full raincoat. So who knows? Anyway, hello. I feel like I haven't, although we caught up last week, it's just been a while since we stood in our little morning spot in my kitchen and just done like a vlog, a proper catch up about everything. This is how exciting my life is at the moment. It's especially exciting no, it is actually exciting behind the scenes, but what we're doing today is I've just taken on a storage unit. Very, very exciting. Not. But yeah, I've got some removals man like just bringing some things to a storage unit for me, but it is over near Broadway. So I just thought, rather than driving all the way over there, meeting the man driving home, we're going to a village that's near to Broadway called Snows Hill. We've done dog walks around there before and we've been to the National Trust, but Snows Hill is probably one of the most like filmed villages in the Cotswolds. It always seems like if ever there's like a documentary on the Cotswolds, or if ever they're doing like a drama or something that's based in the countryside, it always seems to be Snows Hill. And there's one particular shot of like the church in the middle of the village that they always use for that. So anyway, long way of saying, I thought we could walk the dogs in Snows Hill. I'll show you around a little bit. And then just down the hill from there, probably only like a mile or something, is Broadway. And we can get some lunch, we can have a wander around, look at some of the home shops, because we've got At Home with the Rudds and Ocker and some of my favourite kind of home shops to get some inspiration. So I thought we'd do that. I'm gonna get myself dressed, finish my coffee, and then we can head out for the day. By the way, this is the only outfit I've worn for, I want to say, going on 2 weeks. The day this arrived, I put it on, I haven't taken it off since, so I will link it for you, because like I said, it was a brand that I hadn't really heard of. And then I really love like just wearing a white tee under a v-neck. I feel like that's just, there's something about that look. It kind of looks put together, but it also looks very effortless. Wearing the same jeans, honestly, since the day I got these, you were with me, we're in London, they have not come off my body. They are the best. I had to wash them the other day. I didn't know what to do for like 2 days. They're the best jeans ever. And coming from someone who probably has an excessive amount of jeans, because you can never find the perfect pair until now. They're so good. They were so worth the money because they were like a slightly more of an investment pair of jeans. And then you know something else I've been wearing? I've been wearing like these old kind of granddad, I think they're called boat shoes. They're such like granddad coded shoes. I feel like last summer maybe Miu Miu or someone made a pair, so they were kind of, everyone was wearing them again. They're so comfy. I get why every single dad, granddad, possibly grandma wears them. So comfy, so I wear them. That's my uniform. If you have seen me anywhere out doing anything in the last 2 weeks, you'll be able to vouch that I was wearing this, because I was. But before we go out, I just thought I'd come and sit and chat to you, because one of the things that has been helping to keep me grounded in the last couple of weeks, and just helping me to make things feel more manageable throughout this whole buying and selling and the whole house thing that's going on, which, as I always say, I'm not moaning because it's all really positive things. It's just a lot. But yeah, one of the things that's been really helping to keep me grounded is, of course, therapy. I feel like when life gets really busy, I can definitely get tempted to kind of skip therapy, but actually it's definitely when I need it the most. I just think that without therapy, all of the little things that I've got going on, all of the kind of things I'm trying to balance and all the different pieces I'm trying to juggle and remember and whatever, they all just start to build up. I have definitely noticed that I've been just in general a bit more anxious within myself in the last few weeks than I usually am. So therapy's just been like an invaluable sort of outlet just to get what's in here out loud, basically. Just having somebody that's kind of totally external, totally separate to the whole situation and all of the little ins and outs of everything that's going on, just that's there to talk to, has just really helped me to sort of keep perspective on things, and has really made me realise that actually, while there are lots of different pieces that I'm trying to fit together and juggle, like I said, it is actually all manageable. It just sort of builds up and feels bigger than it is when you're not talking to somebody and you're just trying to keep it all in here all the time. So as you know, I've been doing therapy with BetterHelp. As I've shared with you, I have been going to therapy for years because it's just something that's really helped me to understand myself better, understand how my mind works, develop kind of better coping mechanisms for things that I deal with, like anxiety. And just overall, it is just for me that piece of having somebody to say everything out loud to always helps me to see things more clearly. What I think is great about BetterHelp is that everything is online. So when I moved back home to the countryside and I was really struggling to find a therapist to go to, BetterHelp was just the perfect answer. From my very first session, I just felt lighter. I felt like I had a better perspective on things. I felt like I could see things more clearly. And I really noticed that the way that I was talking to myself as well just really improved. The onboarding process with BetterHelp is really straightforward, but it also feels very comprehensive. So you start by filling out a questionnaire, which sort of asks you all about yourself and what it is that you're looking to get from therapy and maybe the things that you would like to get help with. So that can be anything from something sort of more specific like anxiety that I deal with to just more generally wanting to kind of focus on personal growth and things like that. And I think what's great is that you also get to select qualities that you would like your therapist to have. So then what BetterHelp do is they use all of that information, their own clinical experience and over a decade of matching expertise to pair you up with a therapist. But what I think is also really important and really reassuring is that if for any reason that match just doesn't feel quite right for you, you can change therapist at any time with no additional cost. As you know, I'm such a big advocate for therapy. I truly think that therapy is for everybody. I feel like everybody has little things that they maybe just want to work on, or maybe just ways that they want to understand themselves better, or even just somebody to talk to that's kind of totally unbiased. So I have got a link which I will pop here on screen and also down in my description. That link is betterhelp.com/Hannah Adkins, and that will get you 10% off your first month of therapy. So it looks like I'm gonna have to pack a raincoat. I don't know whether you could hear that a second ago, but there was just an absolute downpour. This is what I mean, the weather's so indecisive. It's pouring sunny, pouring sunny. So I'm definitely going to go and pack a coat, and I will see you when we get to Snowsill. Hi, Fred. His dad's doing some work in the woods. Come here. Oh, I think he's a bit scared of our dogs. Bye, Fred. Just driven down into Broadway and parked, and now we're just going to, like I said this morning, go and get some lunch. That's first port of call. I think we'll just get kind of like picnicky bits from the deli as we always do, and then I just want to have a little look around the home shops, maybe get some inspo for the new house. It weirdly feels like a really cozy day. Like the weather's it's kind of like stormy weather, and I think it's just going to end up being like a pretty cozy, chilled afternoon. But yeah, first things first, let's go and get some inspiration for the new house. Rue is just test driving one of the dog beds. But I was saying to Mum, I actually weirdly really like these little chairs. I quite like the fact that they're colourful. I also really like these garden chairs, but I was saying to Mum, I think these are about £400 each, and I've definitely seen them on the internet for slightly less. This I also think is really nice, and I like that it comes with a side table. That's something I really need to buy actually, a side table for my outside chair. Mum really likes these lamp bases, so we've just been discussing which would go best in their house once it's finished being renovated. When you go to a Susie Watson showroom, they all just have the same like really homely kind of lived-in cosy feel to them. We're just having pretty much a picnic for lunch, so we've got 2 salads. These are mixed salads, but you can only see the one on the top, but it's just different kinds of potato salads, roasted squash, things like that. And then this is a vegan sausage roll made with lentils, and that is a blood orange kombucha. I called in at Waitrose on the way home and I just did the most random shop. Like, this is full of just bits and pieces, you know, when you do a kind of midweek, just the things you've run out of. So it's a very random food shop. There's also some bits in here for my mum because she just asked me to pick up a few bits for her, so I did. She also mentioned that she'd been reading somewhere how good fermented food is for you, which it is. It's very, very good for you. So she asked me to pick her up a few different bits like sauerkraut and things like that. My love language in terms of like how I show people that I love them is definitely gift giving. Like, any of my friends, like the minute anyone is going through anything or even like has some really happy news and they move into a new house or they are having a baby or like just anything, my immediate thought is, what can I get for them? Like, what's like a really thoughtful little thing to take to them? Do you know when I'm really gonna thrive? When my friends have babies and you take them like care packages, just like bits of food and little things to make them feel good and whatever. That is going to be, I'm gonna thrive. Like, I'm gonna enjoy that so much. Anyway, my point being, even when I go to the supermarket for somebody else, like if my mum asks me for a couple of bits, I'm always thinking like, what can I get her as a treat? The same thing, like when Kenny comes home to the UK, he's actually home in a couple of weeks. And when he comes home, I can't wait to go to the supermarket and do the shop and just get all the foods that I know that he loves and that he's probably missed while he's been away. I just, honestly, I thrive. But anyway, let me show you this very, very random shop. So this is for mum, but I also get this all the time. This is the Equinox organic ginger kombucha, because obviously fermented. Talking of drinks, actually, I mentioned this in last week's video, but I've been on this thing where, I mean, first of all, I feel like everybody just randomly is drinking so much carrot juice at the moment. It must be a trend or something. If you didn't watch last week's video, I mentioned this, but I've just been looking for something to drink in the evening when you don't feel like just drinking water, but you want a cold drink, especially in the summer. And you're trying not to drink alcohol and things like that. I've just been looking for something to kind of drink while I'm cooking dinner, to enjoy, to look forward to, but that's not alcohol and that's not necessarily like a fizzy, sugary drink or something. So I have been drinking a lot of Firstly, this is the brand that I use. Just like put a little bit into, like a shot, I guess, into a glass, and then I just top it up with sparkling water, and I really like that. But also I've been doing the same thing with the carrot juice, so I just put a little shot of ginger juice, and then I mix it in with some carrot juice. It's so good. Would highly recommend. So I also got both of them, all of that, for my mum and for me, because I put my mum onto those drinks and she likes them. I got some kimchi for me, and then 2 tubs of sauerkraut for my mum. Yogurt, again, for my mum. I got her Rachel's Organic Greek style rhubarb yogurt. And then I also got a organic kefir natural yogurt. I got some of these beans. These are the best baked beans in the world. They're like just like an elevated baked bean experience. I don't really like baked beans, but I do love these. And I like the smoky chili ones. They're by the Bold Bean Company. I got some tofu. I'm gonna make dinner with this later. Today, am I gonna make that today? Yeah, I think so. We'll make this together later. I got some red miso paste, and I also got some sesame seeds, and I got some sushi rice, which I'm excited about. I never remember to buy sushi rice, but it's just the best. So I'm gonna make dinner with this later. And then I just got some random veg that I need, including a cucumber. That's for dinner again. I got some sardines. These are my favorite brand of sardines. They're actually the only brand that I will eat, because sardines really are always on the edge. Like, I'm always on the edge of getting the ick with sardines. So I just stick to this brand because I know they're quite good. The chili ones are also really quite good. And then I also got this, which I might use instead to make dinner. So this is the ottolenghi sticky date and tamarind sauce. It says it's a blend of dates, ginger and soy. And I thought this could be quite nice to marinate the tofu in later to make dinner. So maybe we will give that a go instead, and I can let you know if it's, because that's like an easy cheat rather than having to make your own like glaze for the tofu. So I'll let you know. And then finally, actually from Tesco, and let me put you onto this hack actually. I just got some medjool dates, because I eat medjool dates every single day. I probably eat like 2 or 3 dates a day. And at Waitrose, so I went to Tesco to get my petrol, and I go to Tesco for my petrol, and I always go into Tesco and just stock up on like 5 packs of medjool dates, because the organic medjool dates at Waitrose have gone up. I used to get them from Waitrose, but they have gone up, and I think they are £5.50 per pack. And let's just consider that there's probably 8 maybe dates in a pack, and if I'm eating 2 or 3 a day, that's an expensive habit to have. And you know what's wild? They jumped from £3 to £5.50 in one go at Waitrose. So I get them from Tesco because they're still organic, they're still medjool dates, and they're £2.50, I think. Maybe £2.75 now, but still, if you eat medjool dates, get them from Tesco. That's my little supermarket routine. I go to Waitrose, do my full shop, or the farm shop. I'm either going to Waitrose or the farm shop, depends what I need. If I need mostly kind of veg and like fresh foods, farm shop. Mostly things that you need to buy in like bottles and stuff, Waitrose. And then I go to Tesco, get my petrol, and I get my medjool dates, and that's my routine. Probably nobody cares. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you this random little food shop that I did. Okay, so this is everything that you need, I think. It looks very simple. And hopefully it's super quick and easy if it's good. So we've got some sushi rice, which, I mean, you can use any rice, but I just felt like sushi rice. Broccoli, cucumber, tofu, some sesame seeds, some spring onions, and then this is what I got today. It's the ottolenghi sticky date tamarind sauce. And I'm basically just gonna marinate the tofu in this, cook the rest, throw it together, and we're good to go, I think. So not that there's much to it, but I'm gonna put podcast on and let's make it. Okay, rice, tofu, cucumber, my broccoli, and then spring onions. I love spring onions, so it's kind of a lot, but I love them. Some sesame seeds, and then just a little bit of soy sauce on the rice. And we're good. That was so easy. So easy. So let's try a little Okay, let's try a little bit of tofu. That is so good. So definitely try that ottolenghi as like a cheat when you can't be bothered to make your own. Right, let's talk about books because as I keep saying, I've been reading a lot recently. In fact, let me show you my bookshelf because I've actually bought quite a lot of books recently. Also got some when I went to our other house the other day. So I've got a lot more books on the shelf. So let me show you that one sec. See, it's definitely looking a lot more full. So let me just tell you how I've kind of roughly structured it. So I don't have all of my books here, but the top shelf is all of the fiction books that I've read that I've still got in this house. This shelf is all of my fiction books that are to be read, and I've kind of let the system go, so it's not, maybe there's some that they're in the wrong place, but roughly these are my to be read winter books and these are my to be read spring summer books, because I just feel like some books you just can't read. Like, for example, I couldn't read The Land in Winter in the middle of summer. It just doesn't seem right. This shelf is my non-fiction read. And look at this little leather football. I thought that would look really nice in like Kenny's dressing room or something in the future. And then this is my non-fiction to be read. Some of them I've read kind of half of, but I just need to finish them. And then I've just got journals and notebooks and things at the bottom. But I think at some point, I feel like I should go through this shelf at the top and just tell you my favourites or give you my thoughts. But that's the bookshelf. It looks a lot better, doesn't it? It kind of looks almost like a real bookshelf now. Okay, so these are the three that I wanted to talk to you about because, let me just put my phone on silent, because these are the ones that I've read most recently. The only other book that I've read recently is Wuthering Heights, but I talked about that last week, and I also randomly read that on Kindle, so I don't actually have the physical book. I will get the physical book though because I want to put it on my read shelf. But I did really enjoy that, and if you've watched the film and you're wondering about reading the book, I would recommend personally, although it's very different to the film, but I'm not going to say that all again because I said it all last week. But the books that I will talk about, so the first one that I read, I was reading last time I was vlogging, which was a couple of weeks ago. So that is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I feel like a lot of you are going to hate me for this because I didn't love it. That doesn't mean that I hated it or didn't enjoy it. I actually really, really enjoyed this book, but I didn't absolutely love it. And I know that for so many people, this is one of their favourite books. And I saw lots of you saying to me that it's like your favourite book and that I'll probably love it. And I did really, really enjoy it, but I didn't love it. And do you know why? There's only one reason, really. I just felt like in the end, it kind of felt like the plot was a little bit thin. I just thought that there was so much potential because once you enter the kind of surreal, almost fantasy kind of realm, as a writer, you don't have any limitations. Like anything can happen, any storyline you can sort of make work. It can be as complex, it can be as surreal, it can be so many things. And I just feel like it was lacking a little bit. I think because I enjoyed kind of the first half of the book, or I enjoyed the whole book. Let me just make that clear. I really, really enjoyed reading it. I couldn't put it down. I wanted to keep reading. I loved the kind of world that they built. It was just all so good. And I was so invested that I just felt like I really wanted the end to be kind of mic drop ending, where you just close the book and you have to just sit there in silence and just think, what did all of that mean? And I didn't see it going in that direction. I just think it could have been so, the ending for me, or kind of the explanation of everything could have all, it just felt a bit thin, that's all. But I would still recommend reading this because I've never really read a book like it, and it's a very, very enjoyable read. It's just not, it's not going to be a 5-star. I think I gave it 3. Don't hate me, but I think I gave it 3. And then the next book I read was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I really, really loved this book. Again, this is lots of people's favourite book ever and is like a 5-star read for so many people. And I didn't give it 5 stars. I think I gave this 4 stars. But for me, I feel like that could be quite personal to me because I really don't enjoy reading about like wars and like armies and political things. And I just find that it doesn't like interest me, I suppose, which is why I also gave up on reading. I did read the first 2 books in the ACOTAR series, but by the end of the second book, I was just skim reading because there was a lot of like fighting and wars and politics and all things that are probably world building and plot building and things, but it's just like not my personal preference. So for me with this book, I absolutely loved, like adored probably the first half of the book, if not a little bit more, when you were kind of learning about the characters and the 2 main characters were getting to know each other and it was all about their story and when they go up and like into the mountain and all of that. Loved it all, like absolutely loved it. I read this book so quickly, but then when it got to like the war, it kind of lost. That's what made it into a 4-star for me, but that's like a really personal thing. So I would definitely say read this book. It is beautifully written and I would recommend, but I gave it 4 stars. And then finally, I just thought I would talk a little bit more about this book, which is what I'm currently reading. So this is Yesteryear, which is, honestly, everybody seems to be talking about this. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the back of the book, which says, Natalie lives a perfect traditional lifestyle and her followers are sick with envy. Her charming farmhouse on her working ranch is artfully cluttered, her husband is a handsome cowboy, and her homemade sourdough loaves are each more beautiful than the last. So what if there are nannies and producers and industrial-grade ovens behind the scenes? What her followers don't know won't hurt them. Then one morning, Natalie wakes up in a strange, horrible version of reality. Her home, her husband, and her children, they're all familiar, but something's off. Is this a hoax? Is this a reality show, a test from God? Natalie knows just 2 things for sure. This isn't her perfect life and she must escape by any means possible. So basically, to summarise, so far what I know about the book, I'm halfway through, is that half of the plot takes place in like the current day. So in, you know, this whole world where she is an online content creator and she's making kind of trad wife. I think it's basically pointing fun at probably content creators as a whole, but also in particular this kind of trad wife trend, I guess you could call it. So yeah, half the book is that, and then the other half, which is totally unexplained so far and I'm halfway through, is that she one day just wakes up and she's in the 1800s. So she's sort of living the life, truly living the life that she is, I suppose the author of the book would call like cosplaying, I guess. It's a very easy read. The chapters are short. And yeah, it's easy to read. It's intriguing. Like I really want to know how this book has got the potential, if the ending is good and if the explanation for how she's been in the 1800s is good and the plot doesn't end up just being really far-fetched or like a bit thin or whatever, then it's got the potential to be a really good book. But it really all rides on how it all comes together. So TBC on this and I will let you know, but it's an enjoyable read, definitely. If you're looking to like just grab something in the airport or you've got like a long journey coming up or something, this will definitely keep your attention. But that's the book update. I've actually, like I said, I've bought loads of new books, but I feel like rather than just list them all off to you now, I'll kind of tell you more about them as I'm reading them, because at the moment I'm just reading. It's like all I'm doing, any spare 5 minutes I get. So I feel like there's lots of books that we'll get through in the coming weeks that I can talk to you about. But that's where we're up to. Let me know if you've read any of them. Don't tell me anything about Yesteryear though, because I always try and ruin it for myself. Like I'll read the comments and then try and like figure things out, and that ruins the book. But as always, tell me what you're reading, tell me what you've been loving, tell me what I need to get my hands on and what I need to read next. I think I'm going to leave this week's video here because I'm about to make a cup of tea. I'm going to watch the new season of Rivals that came out today, and I'm just going to chill. So next week we're going to south of France on a little solo trip, like I said, so I'm going to bring you along for that and I'm really looking forward to that. And then I think the week after Kenny is home, potentially. Pretty sure that's the week after, so then we've got like our summer plans and everything, which will be really fun, and I'm excited to just bring you something different because I know today has just been a very chilled vlog. I just wanted to make sure that I'd got something to you this week and like got back into vlogging a little bit this week. But yeah, as I keep saying, just thank you so much for just bearing with me. I promise things are about to get a lot more fun. There's definitely a lot more fun coming, starting next week actually. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for just spending your Sunday morning with me. And I hope you have the best week ever, and I can't wait to catch up with you next weekend. Bye guys.